everyone. I'm just going to give it another 5 or 10 minutes just to let a few more people join us, and then we can get cracking. In the meantime, I'm just going to leave some videos running in the background so you've got something to watch to entertain you. See you shortly.
What if you could design safe access that didn't cost the Earth, and you could positively impact the world around you by the decisions you make, born from research-led design, in ways that make our planet better? One small change, leading to a better future. Never accept that things can't be done better. Join our journey towards climate positivity. We are driving change. We are pushing innovation. We are in touch with tomorrow. We are SureSpan. Make us your small change, and we will sow the seeds for generations to come. Meet the new generation solar-powered roof hatch. Based on our market-leading design, the hatch is fitted with a 20-watt solar panel, providing several operations per day from an integrated battery pack. The highly efficient crystalline cell solar panel ensures all-weather operation. The final touch is a wireless remote control, which operates the powered actuators, meaning no wiring is necessary. SureSpan roof hatches are fitted with an external curb liner as standard, ensuring easy on-site installation. The thermally broken lid and upstand with 75mm insulation provides a U-value of 0.26 watts per meter squared. Also available with a non-combustible mineral wool insulation. Did we mention no electrician is necessary? We simply don't accept that things can't be done better. Join our journey towards carbon positivity.
Hi everyone, I'm going to get cracking with this CES presentation now. My name is Robert Fletcher and I'm your host this afternoon. Over the next 50 minutes or so, I hope to provide you with all the information you need to specify safe access and escape hatches. First of all, who are SureSpan Limited? We are a standard and bespoke manufacturer of access and escape products. And these are usually used for sort of commercial, industrial, and even residential applications. We manufacture everything from roof terrace access hatches to massive industrial covers. Bespoke is not a problem for us. We recently worked alongside the Naval Information Warfare Centre to develop sliding access solutions that they could utilise on military vessels. These unmanned vessels, otherwise known as ghost ships, are designed to resemble cargo haulers, and they're outfitted with shipping containers holding military radar, sensors, and in some cases even missile defense systems. Now, our sliding hatches were installed on top of these containers so the equipment could lift through safely. On thanking us for our contribution to the US Navy, the lead engineer said, while the United States Navy does not endorse individual companies, he certainly personally appreciates that our company demonstrated unparalleled expertise in a niche market, which I'll bear in mind for future projects. Well, we can't ask anything more than that. A personal endorsement from one of the lead engineers within their specialty. This is echoed by other engineering firms and architectural practices. The thing is, we don't tend to deal with sales or manufacturer reps. I mean, why would we? We are the specialists in our field, and we prefer to deal direct with the architects and engineers such as yourselves. We've got a passion for what we do, and it's always more than just an access hatch to us. It's a solution to a problem. The only limit is your imagination. This short video will demonstrate our capabilities and engineers as a manufacturer providing an unparalleled service. Who knew access hatches could be so exciting? By working with us early on in the design process, you can ensure your clients have a finished product that they are happy with no expensive oversights or delays. We'll give you the technical advice, guidance you need when specifying these types of products. As a global manufacturer, sustainability and managing our economic impact is paramount to our beliefs. We are continuously improving processes, products, and materials to reduce our carbon footprint. Initiatives such as our partnership with Ecology allows us to plant a tree and offset our carbon emissions for every roof hatch we manufacture. Recently been accredited with BSI quality certifications for environmental management and quality management systems. That's enough about SureSpan. Let's begin the presentation. Our learning objectives this afternoon are to provide good guidance and to help create practical specifications for the safe use of roof hatches, with consideration to the client and the overall project requirements. Firstly, we will run through the specifications you need to consider for roof access, followed by the safety features and then performance. And once we've specified our roof hatch, we'll explore what bespoke solutions are available for more creative problems. Rounding off the roof access section, we'll have a quick look at ladders and then glass specifications, and moving on finally to considerations for large equipment and plant access doors that are installed in the floor. Floor and roof hatches are used to access plant or equipment, either in basements or on roofs, to carry out maintenance to such areas. But also note, we do not recommend roof hatches should be used as part of a fire strategy. And when designing and specifying roof hatches, please also refer to the International Builders Code and the OSHA health and safety standards and work from height regulations. So we will shortly begin with the design and specification of roof hatches, from standard hatches all the way up to large bespoke designs to suit a variety of project requirements, from single leaf egress, as you can see in the top left, to large double door designs. There are multiple considerations and requirements you need to keep in mind, including things like wind and snow loading, how regularly these hatches are going to be used, and the kind of environment that they're installed. We'll touch upon all of this in the following slides. When specifying a roof hatch, you need to consider the following. What type of lid do you require? Is it glass for natural daylight and a premium finish? Or is it just a plain solid insulated aluminum lid? Or alternatively, you could go somewhere in between with a polycarbonate dome. do you need secure locking or access from above? We'll touch upon this in the next slides. What type of gaskets and seals does the roof hatch come with as standard? Does it need to be airtight and weatherproof? What type of internal handle do you require to ensure safe operation? This internal handle can also be aligned with staircase handrails and other handrails to ensure a continual line handrail up the staircase. Is the hatch firmly broken, preventing condensation? Does it also come with an automatic locking safety stay? What finish do you require? Is it a polyester powder coated finish as per the image, where we generally recommend like a white on the inside and a colour to match the surrounding roof on the outside, or blue, or pink, or red? Any colours are available. Is the project going to be located in a corrosive environment such as near seawater, in which case you may need to consider additional powder coating, which is a higher quality finish, or stainless steel. Other considerations you need to take into account is the upstand or curb. Does the hatch come with a sufficient upstand or curb, and does that curb have a curb liner on the outside? So this curb liner just acts as an easier installation by providing a flat surface to weather up to. So these options very briefly give you an idea of the sort of things that you need to consider, but what if there's additional sort of performance criteria that's required? The need for additional acoustic rating, for example, if used in a music auditorium. In these cases, roof hatches can be rated for up to 45 decibels. If the hatch needs to be fire rated, ensure it is tested and certified. Fire rated roof hatches are available up to 4 hours rated to BS EN 1634-4 and UL standards. Generally, this standard, BS 1634, provides a more sort of in-depth testing procedure when compared with the likes to ASTM E119, as it tests more of the factors that are required for fire hazard or fire risk assessment under actual fire conditions. The beauty of this standard is that it considers the actual physical fire testing, but also ensures the manufacturer is quality approved to relevant standards to maintain that future products manufactured are as per the originally tested specimen. Objective consideration should be given to specifying standard size products. I mean, that's fairly common sense. This not only saves money, but also saves manufacturing time and delivery expectations. Standard sizing is pretty generic within our industry, born from sort of historical experience, practicality, and frequency of use. Whether the hatch is used for inspection, maintenance, or escape, the size should be carefully considered. For standard access via a ladder or similar, a size of 30 by 36 inches is generally accepted as a standard size. If you are using a ladder with a safety cage, for example, you might want to go up to the next size, which is a 36-inch square. Again, that may be determined by the type of ladder being used. For maintenance access, for example, if you're carrying a toolbox or backpack up the ladder or staircase, larger sizes designed to be used with these types of ladders should be specified, which give you more adequate headroom clearance. Bespoke sizes are of course available, but generally come with additional cost, administration, and delivery times. And let's face it, in design and build projects, the buyer likes standardization. So if the need is for a bespoke size, have a statement to support the requirement clearly at hand, so there's no mistake made from any sort of change of specification or requirements. We touched upon the requirements for firmly broken hatches on the previous slide. The importance of a thermal break present in the roof hatch is to minimize condensation. This is especially important in heated or cooled spaces below the hatch. The difference in temperature from outside and inside can lead to condensation unless there is a thermal break preventing this. Further attention should also be given to the type and thickness of insulation used within the hatch and frame. The most popular form of insulation is PIR board, which is polyisocyanurate, which generally comes in 2 or 3 inches. Standard is more sort of 3 inches, which provides a decent U value. But there are alternatives on the market which are more less energy efficient, but friendlier for the environment. So you can also specify non-combustible mineral wool insulation, which trades off a little bit of thermal performance for better non-combustibility and better, it's more environmentally friendly. Security of the hatch is an essential consideration. Assessing the risk management on a project-by-project basis enables you to tailor the locking options to suit. For example, does it need a padlock to prevent unauthorized access from below? Or maybe it needs an external handle to access from above. External handles are an important addition as the majority of hatches are closed when the operative is on the roof to prevent blowback, rain, or accidental falls. If there is an external handle, you need to consider how do you secure that hatch from the outside when not in use. You could look at external key locking or an external padlock if accessed from above. Inquire if your chosen manufacturer can meet your criteria. So this just gives you a couple of examples of the locking options available. So generally it'll come with an internal hasp and staple, which you can attach a padlock to. So that's ideal for securing the hatch from below. But note, if somebody needs to access from above and it's padlocked, they obviously won't be able to open the hatch. You can also look at external handles with a padlock. So again, that's ideal for if you're accessing it from above, but if somebody wants to access from below and it's padlocked on the outside, they won't be able to get out. In circumstances like that, you can also look at the key locking options, which come with a thumb turn on the inside, so it's easy to open on the inside, and an external key lock. You can also switch the thumb turn to a key to have an internal and external keyed hatch. Oops. Oh, I think that just crashed on me. Bear with me a second. Share screen. There's a slight technical issue there. It's Humpback Wednesday and my PC is like, I think I'm going to crash right now. That's very helpful. I would appreciate it if you, there we go, skip through some of these. Sorry, I'll just get back to where we were. There we go. Sorry about that. On the topic of safety, the final point is to determine how to access the roof safely from a ladder. If there is not a man-safe system available to hook onto, you should always consider a three-sided guardrail with self-closing gate, this first option here. This is the perfect solution, which provides additional handholds if needed and preventative measures for accidental falls, and also prevents people walking over it. The guardrail should meet OSHA standards and be at least 42 inches high with a mid-rail. If there is a man-safe system available, you could consider an external fixed handhold system, as shown here. This provides a permanently fixed handhold, which is there when needed and doesn't require sort of manually retracting upwards. But if there's a fixed vertical ladder below, you can also look at the ladder up safety post, which retracts up manually as you're climbing up the ladder. Another key consideration is checking whether the hatches are tested to achieve watertightness, air permeability, and wind-resistant loads. Further consideration should be made depending on the state in which the products are specified, such as Miami-Dade building regulations in Florida. We recommend checking with local building controller. Air permeability is an increasingly common requirement. It is costing more and more to heat and cool buildings, and maintaining that positive pressure is crucial to improving building efficiency and overall green credentials. For powered opening doors, electricians will generally have to be on site to wire up the switches to the hatch, which can incur additional cost and time on site. So you could look for solutions such as solar-powered hatches that come pre-wired with a remote control for roof egress. So it's basically out of the box, ready to be used. You get it on site, install it, press a button and it opens for you. We have covered standard options and specifications. This short video will highlight a few solutions to problems utilising a bespoke solution. It's always worth talking to the manufacturer when looking at non-standard items, as they can provide suitable advice and guidance and ensure all options and possibilities are allowed for. That pretty much covers our sort of roof access portion. We've specified our roof hatch, we've looked at the options, the locking, the performance. Then we're going to have a quick look at the different types of ladders that you can be used with roof hatches. Now, work at height is the biggest single cause of building fatal and serious injuries in the construction industry, particularly on smaller projects. Over 60% of deaths during work at height involve falls from ladders, scaffolds, working platforms, and roof edges. Typically, there are three types of ladders used to gain safe access. They are all fixed solutions. Removable ladders have been generally slightly negative solution with risk managers, as vastly more accidents are reported using removable ladders than that of fixed solutions. First option we'll have a quick look at are vertical ladders. So these are fixed back to the wall and can be used both internally and externally. They're ideal for regular use. Generally, ladders like this are manufactured in a marine grade aluminum or galvanized steel. We prefer aluminum for its resistance to corrosion, lightweight properties, and it also opens up the options for you to polyester powder coat the finish to match the surrounding roof or walls. The next option is ship's ladders, or sometimes known as companionway ladders. These are ideal for maintenance use, for repairs and plant access, allowing operatives to climb up the ladder safely while carrying a toolbox. They are used for both internal and external access between an angle of 65 degrees to 75 degrees. Something to consider with these ladders is the deeper the roof section, from the sort of ceiling to the roof level, the greater length of opening required to maintain a headroom clearance of 6 foot 8 inches. This distance may also need to be increased if you're looking at alternating tread ladders, as they often use a steeper angle. The final option we'll have a quick look at are retractable ladders. And these are generally designed for infrequent use, often to access lofts, mezzanine floors and crawl spaces, but also commonly used to access through roof hatches. Commercial retractable ladders are similar to the style often found in homes for access to a loft, but much stronger, carrying loads of up to 440 pounds per tread. They are manufactured in a robust aluminum construction and offer a counterbalance spring operation. So there's generally two types of these concertina ladders. You've got the standalone standard zip ladder, which is ideal for a floor-to-ceiling height spanning up to around 11 feet. Anything above 11 feet or even below 11 feet, a more bespoke option can be specified, which comes with its own wooden frame and integrated ceiling panel. And these can be manufactured to suit a climb height of around 15 feet. These bespoke ladders are also available opening from above and electrically operated, with further options for 30, 60 and 90 minutes fire rating at ceiling level. Both the standard zip standalone ladder and the Zip 8, or the ladder that comes with its own trapdoor, come with telescopic handrail for additional safety, and they're easily pulled down with a hook on a pole. When specifying these styles of ladders, the first consideration is the floor to ceiling height. So the floor height to the ceiling height here, and the remaining ceiling to roof level. So the minimum depth to house a retractable ladder is around 25 inches. If you supply a separate sort of ceiling access panel, below this you need to increase it just to allow for the depth of the ceiling access panel. And for voids above sort of 3 feet, we generally recommend a fixed vertical ladder section. So going back to the previous fixed vertical ladder, you can have a small section of ladder within that roof void between the ceiling and roof if it's above sort of around 3 feet. Anything below that will offer some wall-mounted treads similar as what you can just about make out on that diagram there. These are just simple treads that are fixed into the structure. So that was a very quick look at ladders. We're now going to look into the specification of glass skylights and horizontal windows. So we're changing the tack slightly. Glass skylights are a hot topic at the moment. The health benefits of natural daylight are very well documented, along with residential properties looking to the skies and extending up to the roof, creating large terrace access areas for entertainment or for popular widows' walks. A lot of principles we touched upon for roof access also apply to glazed access. The biggest thing you need to take into account is that these hatches will be more regularly used, and as such it needs to be as safe and as straightforward as possible. Most glass skylights that open have to be powered due to the weight of the glass. This is often operated by a simple push button or wall mounted key switch at the bottom of the staircase. And we always recommend that the operator should have line of sight with the hatch when they're opening and closing it. Other options such as digital keypads can also be specified. You can also look to include a vertical opening door at the top of the stairs for easy step-free access. So this image here shows a brief example of a glazed skylight with a vertical end door. This is ideal in residential situations as there's no large step over or curb that the user has to step over to gain access to the roof. It's a lot safer in that regard. And that door can be made to pretty much any height. As per the IBC and OSHA, you need to ensure you maintain that headroom clearance when they're walking up the staircase. So the minimum headroom clearance is generally around 6'8" or 80 inches. And this applies to all types of staircases. On larger expanses, you can have fixed sections, so the whole skylight doesn't fully open, as long as you maintain that headroom clearance. So when looking at glass specifications, you should consider the following points. Is the glass toughened and laminated? Laminated inner panes, particularly from our point of view, are a highly recommended safety feature. In case of breakage, no glass will enter the living area below. And it's remarkable how many skylights you see in this day and age that don't have a laminated inner pane. And these can be anywhere from in schools or in libraries or in someone's kitchen. And then if anything was to happen to that skylight and it broke, the room below has a high chance of being covered in fragments of broken glass. That's why we highly recommend a laminated inner pane. Is there a particular solar G value you're looking for? So the G value is sort of the heat transfer coefficient of that skylight. There's various different glass finishes, which we'll touch upon in the next slide, which help you make a more informed decision on whether that's something you need to consider. The other things you can think about is how the skylight will be used. Is it just fixed for daylight? Do they want it to be open for ventilation purposes or access purposes? There is a range of finishes available that are suitable for different requirements and environments. We recommend glass should come with self-cleaning glass as standard. This glass generally has a protective film which breaks down debris and dirt. We always recommend installing these skylights of a pitch of at least 5 degrees to ensure adequate water runoff. In hotter areas, it is recommended to select a higher performance solar control glass to minimize the heat transference. So solar control glass comes in a couple of different tints, but it's generally like a slightly blue tint, and that will reduce the amount of heat that is transferred from the outside to the inside. So it's highly recommended in hotter areas. You can also opt for tinted glasses, which might not have the same sort of reflectivity, but they'll reduce the glare from the inside. And finally, walk-on glass can also be specified. Again, we recommend glass is, in its nature, very incredibly slippy when it's wet. So we recommend a dot matrix or anti-slip pattern. And as with all roof factories, always ensure your glazed skylight is firmly broken and insulated. Commercial and industrial applications also benefit from utilising glass skylights. For larger expanses, office spaces, public buildings and corridors, you can specify large multi-panel glass skylights. These often span vast distances and provide an easy but stunning centerpiece to commercial or public buildings. Modular skylights all benefit from being installed within a pitch to improve solar control. Each individual module supplied can slot into one another, providing simple and effective installation. And this also gives you options for each individual module being operated by separate chain drives for daily ventilation. From below, these modules will look exactly the same as all the other modules. They'll just have that added benefit of a concealed mechanism to open that panel for ventilation. And with these are variable in any length. Let's say you literally can have a massive span of glass within an atrium or lobby, and it's an incredible centerpiece to behold. Have you ever come across a project that needs occasional access to replace large power plants, generators, or even MRI scanners? It's not uncommon to come across this problem where hinged solutions may not meet your requirements. There are a few main drawbacks with hinged units. So up until this point, we've all looked at sort of hinged opening doors that open sort of like that or like that. The problem with these is they don't always open to a full 90-degree clear opening. They generally open to about 85 degrees, which reduces the available clear area. And issues specific to larger hatches, when they're open, those doors can act as a wind sail. So specifying sliding hatches overcome these issues because they provide a maximum clear opening without overcomplicating the operating process. Some of these sliding hatches can even be manually slid open. There are two main types of sliding hatches: those that come with a telescopic rail, which is often used on smaller hatches, sort of less than 4 foot square, and those that come with these roof-mounted fixed rails. When the sliding hatches are electrically operated, ensure the motor is easily accessible, and then it can also provide a manual override. For areas that need to be watertight, ensure the sliding hatches are firmly broken, insulated, and weatherproof. The following video will highlight some sliding access solutions from residential applications, all the way to military use and the aforementioned US Navy projects as well that we have worked on. Okay, so that's pretty much the roof access and ladder portion out of the way. We're now going to look at design considerations when looking at floor hatches. So the design considerations for a floor access hatch are different to that of a roof access hatch. They often have more designed complex requirements taking into account various wheel loads, point loads, distributed loads, additional fire rating and acoustic rating requirements. Other areas that you need to consider are the material of the hatch. Is it being installed in a water treatment plant with corrosive chemicals? Then look at sort of stainless steel. If it's heavy duty loadings, again, the material choice will impact the sort of size and loading requirements that the hatch is able to achieve. So generally our much bigger floor hatches that we manufacture are stainless steel. We have also done a few in mild steel and aluminum. All of these factors will determine what kind of operating mechanism is available to use. So the large heavy duty covers, like the one you can see here, will be hydraulically operated, while smaller covers can be gas spring assisted, just like a roof hatch, or it can also be powered with electric openers. There's also additional options such as lifting points for a lift out hatch. So instead of it hinged, you can have a fully lifted out cover, and the just benefit of that is that, again, it'll give you the maximum clear opening. Does the lid require an infill finish, such as timber or stone? What is the minimum depth of flooring infill that you can get away with? We recommend keeping it lower than 2 inches to save on weight, as deeper and heavier infills will need additional strengthening. If no infill is needed, a tread plate or plain plate lid can be specified. What fire ratings do you require? Are there any acoustic rating requirements? Where is the hatch situated? Will it be frequently walked on by pedestrians? If so, does it need to have an anti-slip finish for safer use? And how will the operators work around the hatch? Is it recommended that there are guardrails or safety grids to prevent accidental fall-throughs? Touching back on loading requirements, there is a wide range of scenarios, environments, and considerations that need taken into account when specifying a floor door. From a 30-something-year-old 150-pound loader to grand pianos in this particular job for the Royal College of Music, which was designed to take a grand piano, to heavy-duty dockyard and machinery plants. There's a wide range of loading parameters that determine the type of loading and how that loading is imparted onto the cover. For example, a forklift is a specialist floor load, as we need to consider the point loading of each wheel in many positions within the boundary of the cover. If possible, we like to have a data sheet on the forklift to see how that weight is distributed, the wheel track and the centres, what type of wheels it has, whether they're solid or pneumatic, as all of these factors can contribute to the loading requirements that we need to design for. If the loading is PSF, pounds per square foot, you need to factor in the size of our door. For example, we recently quoted a 22 foot by 8 foot floor door at 300 PSF. And when calculated, this equates to around £13,000, providing it was distributed evenly over at least 25% of the area. HS20 and H20 loadings can also be specified for areas that will be subjected to frequent vehicle traffic. This particular loading assumes a £16,000 wheel load and therefore a £32,000 axle load. It also takes into consideration the additional loading that occurs from moving vehicles. These loads are called impact and live load surcharges, and there are additional safety factors that help prevent underground enclosures from having a structural failure and collapsing in from traffic conditions. There's obviously a few construction materials that are designed to withstand these types of loadings other than concrete, cast iron or ductile iron steel. And this is just a little case study to give you an idea of various loading requirements. So we worked alongside a large energy and waste plant in Scotland, and they needed a hatch to open for the large £15,000 crane grabber to come through. So you can see these crane grabbers down here. This colossal hatch needed to achieve a full clear opening of 18 foot by 18 foot for the crane grabber to fit through. They specified a sliding hatch design in order to get the maximum clear opening. The main issue we faced was the actual crane grabber needed to be rested on top of these covers when opened. So if you imagine these crane grabbers with the claw fully opened, each of those individual claw points imparts its own loading onto the cover. So to combat this, Surespan engineered a reinforcement section within the lid which achieved the load requirements. So you can see a quick design there of the circular reinforcement section that was included. I don't know if you can make it out on the site photo there. There's a slight round reinforcing section. In addition to obviously the crane grabber loading, we also needed to factor in the 20% increase of load for the speed that the crane grabber was lowered onto the cover. I mean, this is just a small example of the loading requirements that needed to be accounted for in a specialist environment. So floor hatches are generally designed to sit within a rebate within the floor. These are anchored through a fixing flange here and here, and backfilled with concrete or screed. A floor door is designed to take the loading without weight-bearing concrete within the lid. This does mean that obviously the frame detail that we create may vary depending on the size and loading performance and material of the hatch. But where an insufficient rebate can be provided, fixing angles can also be designed for internal fixing. Custom floor doors can be manufactured for a wide variety of solutions. These can also include individual access hatches within the lid, such as the job shown just here. So there's a smaller personnel access hatch within that lid. They can be specified with walk-on glass. And just another consideration you need to take into account when looking at heavy duty loadings, the depth of that cover, because of the additional strengtheners, will increase. So if you notice on this particular example here, the lid, the sheer size of and depth of that lid was purely designed to take the heavy duty loading. As an example of walk-on glass with a dot matrix pattern, just for anti-slip performance. This particular hatch that was supplied to Lithuania was for a biomass fuel plant. They needed to achieve a maximum clear opening, and the way we managed to do that with the limited space available was fit the operating mechanisms at the back of the hatch. But when the hatch was fully open, there was a maximum clear opening. And this particular hatch that you can see on the screen was a fully automated design. Even the central support beam and safety grids were electrically opening. So it was a fully turnkey solution. You turn the key, hatch doors open, safety grids open, and the central support beam also opens. Now the support beam is generally used on obviously much larger hatches which span large distances and require heavy duty loadings. This support beam in the example shown there was a lifting out support beam, but we can also do a removable central support beam. So that's just a beam down the middle of the hatch, which you remove when you're accessing the hatch. But we can also integrate that support beam within the lids of the hatch, so there's nothing obstructing the opening. So, in summary, we have looked at the following key objectives today. We looked at specifying the correct hatch size for access via ladders and maintaining headroom clearances according to building standards. We touched upon the security and safety options that you can consider with roof hatches. We explored a few ladder options. We looked into different types of glass specification that you can use and the importance of laminated and toughened glass. And finally, we've just gone through the specification process for complicated floor doors. So, as you'll see from this presentation, a hatch is more than just a square box on a roof plan. We always recommend that you speak with the manufacturer early on in the design process to determine the requirements and assess what is feasible. We'll now explore some case studies that show various ways you can overcome an access problem. So we recently supplied access hatches to the SOFI staging. So we worked with the facade access systems team to bring an easy and safe access to the SOFI staging. So the SOFI staging, as you can see, has one of the largest Jumbotron displays in the world, and every single fan in that staging can view the screen. SureSpan supplied a couple of large floor access doors which provided maintenance access within the Oculus system. With car showrooms seeing a reduction in footfall, a major shopping mall franchise in the UK have started putting them putting the car showrooms into the shopping centre. In order to do so, they obviously need a means to get the cars into the showroom. So that we worked with this customer to design a floor access hatch that they could use to bring a scissor lift through, and the car just drives through. Ferrari World in Abu Dhabi is home to one of the fastest accelerating roller coasters in the world, called the Formula Rossa, and the maintenance team needed a way to service and repair the roller coaster carts. So we were approached to develop a sliding hatch that sat to the side of the roller coaster, which could easily be slid open which allowed them to crane the carts down into the workshop below. This particular sliding hatch was powered by an electric motor and spanned over 17 feet by 13 feet. And I'm not sure if we have any soccer fans in here tonight, but SureSpan supplied a number of products to the Qatar 2022 World Cup stadiums. These included sliding hatches, powder coated in this rather fancy gold finish. We also supplied large personnel access hatches with vertical doors. And this particular job here was sort of a hybrid roof hatch and floor hatch. It was on the roof of the stadiums, but it was inlaid with the facade, so it blended in with the surrounding areas. SureSpan also supplied over 80 heavy-duty floor access covers for various maintenance and plant rooms throughout the grounds of the Presidential Palace in Abu Dhabi. These stainless steel hatches were inlaid with heavy stone paving, and they were all manually operated. Power plants, utility and waste management facilities operate a wide number of large pumps, machines and heavy-duty equipment which occasionally require servicing or replacing. Our floor hatches provide an easy, hassle-free access to these areas where similar style grated floors and concrete panels cause additional costs and safety when removing. Paired with our huge portfolio of specifications, from the aforementioned HS20 loading to fire rated to lift out, we are sure to have a solution that meets your project requirements. This particular example was 19'8" by 13'6", and it was operated as a 4-door cover. Lift-up safety grids were either side of the hatch to prevent accidental fall-throughs, and it was operated by electro-hydraulic pumps. Finally, this is the last project. We touch upon a nice little project in London, far from the industrial equipment hatches seen before. We supplied a double door recess floor hatch that was used with a glass elevator. There's nothing extraordinary about this, it's just a floor hatch in a little courtyard. However, it was installed at the Old Deanery in London. Now, the Bishop of London resides in this historic building, and it is known that the late Queen Elizabeth II would visit on a monthly basis for her afternoon tea and religious advice. In her later years, she struggled with the staircase, so a glass elevator was installed, allowing her chauffeur to drive up the steps, signal the elevator where a hatch would open, and the glass elevator would come through the floor, allowing Her Majesty to walk into the elevator and into the Bishop of London's residence. And that pretty much wraps up our presentation today. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. You can type in the chat box, or I'll pop a banner on now just with our contact details. You can drop an email to us at usa@surespancovers.com. We're here to assist, advise, provide drawings, details, specifications, anything you need to get your project on the way. Just a further note, if you want me to claim your AIA credits, if you just let me know what your membership number is, I can submit that you attended the course, and obviously you'll get your learning units from that. You can just drop it on an email there, message me on LinkedIn, or email. Yeah, that's probably the best way. Thanks for your time again, and good night.